So yeah, what I'm actually going to show you is my version of the client portal. So I actually developed something like this a couple of months ago, and I've actually been essentially, making it better and better. So let me quickly share my screen. So kind of like Aaron said, obviously one of the issues is obviously trying to get clients to utilize it as much as possible. So here we were a little bit lucky because we actually have a client portal that installs directly on a desktop for all our clients, and essentially that's how they submit their tickets and everything else. So all we've done with that, we've added an extra button, and it'll essentially take them to here. So obviously you log in with your Entra, and then they get this page. Now, don't judge my HTML too much. No website developer, but as you can kind of see, it gives a breakdown what this portal is, and you've got your forms here. So you've got new user, staff leaver, the user groups. The reason why that's coming soon is because I've actually built all my own approval processes or customization. So as well as having the portal with all our customization, our branding, everything else in it, I also have all the workflows that do the same. So, our brand's pretty much across everywhere. We've got little mailbox manager, forwarding, and we've also got an issue. So the issues here that I've done is essentially I wanted it to be separate to our normal support tickets because, if someone's having an issue with Rewst, then obviously there's only going to be selected people who can go and deal with that issue. So I'm going to show you a screenshot. When you kind of submit it, it's only because obviously it's got some people's actual emails in the top part of what it sends to me as. It comes through as this, nice and simple. It gets the name, gets the email automatically, what category they've chosen. It gives it an issue ID. So at the moment, I have this where it pulls that issue onto a Google Sheet for me, because essentially at the minute I'm the one who kind of does all this, but eventually we'll obviously put it into its own board and everything, but just helps separate your normal support ticket issues to the Rewst issues, which is quite good. So inside the category you have login issues, performance issues, feature requests I need to obviously change from here because that's not an issue as such. Bug reports another. So this gives them the opportunity to categorize kind of what exactly that problem is. So what I've kind of done after this is, hang on, the share buttons kind of get in the way. So when you actually click into them, a lot of clients as well. So this is something that I did have it where you just click like new user and it takes you straight to a form. Now the problem is you can put as much description on there as you want, but a lot of people don't seem to kind of understand certain things. So for instance, if you have somebody who's on AD, you're going to want them to be able to understand what OU is. I know we can auto kind of put that into the form and stuff, but some clients, they have multiple different OUs depending on location and stuff like that. So on here I've got like a general guide, kind of explains everything. So you'll see these shortly. This is kind of our own custom approval process, kind of screenshots of how all that goes, and then start onboarding, and it takes them directly to the form. And then as well as that, they've got a feedback. So this is kind of good. And actually a lot of clients have given us some really positive feedback with it. So they'll give us a rating, something they want to see, or, something they've enjoyed doing and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been a good success. But as well as that, at the moment, as you can see, this only shows stuff for 365. So the kind of like we do with your new users and stuff like that, when you're onboarding, obviously you have the choice of AAD or AD. So if they're only on AD, this form will actually change, but it's actually on the same page. So it just has that variable inside it. And then essentially when if they're on-prem, it'll just show a couple of extra options, because you've got on-prem security groups and everything else. So yeah, it helps clients to get that little bit of understanding of the form, and obviously you click the form, again, you get your normal form. So I'm not going to go through that because you guys have kind of seen it. So I have obviously been using this for quite some time, so I've actually had some time to develop it a little bit further. I am quite proud of this one. It's took me a long time to get it, and I only started learning HTML a couple of months ago. So if I refresh it, get nice little login. So Rewst test. So for instance, if you're logging in with your name, it's going to come with your name instead. So it's actually like customized for you. So so it's like a nice little intro straight away to yourself. You've got little hover buttons, little effects here, nice little particle background, and then you've got little 3D onboarding, staff leaving, email forwarding. So all these here are stuff that, except for the user groups, all the ones I've got my own processing, and this workflow here is essentially what I've only just finished. So this isn't rolled out to clients just yet because I've got a couple of things to do. But like with the new user guide, just kind of show you, just adds that nice little touch. When you scroll down, you know how it slides up. You've got little icons with it. You know, just keeps it clean and efficient. Just makes it look smooth, and it keeps people interested. You know, because you want Rewst to be as simple as possible, but at the same time, if you can make it look good, do it. And then, you know, this little feedback part down here. So I have also done a nice little touch, but I still haven't changed the white, and Dan's very much aware of this. I probably blinded everybody last time I showed you this. So watch your eyes a little bit, but as you can see, there's nice little things here. Like you hit the moon, it'll turn to a sun, and then there you go. You've got light mode as well. So, and the best thing is, if you close this off, go back onto it, it'll remember it. It saves it in the cache. So you're not having to sit there constantly going from dark mode to light mode or anything like that. Whatever you choose, it will save it. You know, we've had some good success with this because, you know, we can automate anything we want as a tech. We can make things amazing for the tech, but the amount of good response that we've had from this is, you know, like last week alone, I think we had like 16 new users and 5 offboardings on here, and I've only got a couple of clients that I've actually shown this portal to. So yeah, it's been a great success, and a lot of them like that interaction, and you know how they've got the breakdown, how quick and easy it is. So as well as kind of seeing everything you can customize on here, you know, having your own logos, having your own text, having your names pop up, the one main thing for us is the kind of on the stuff with across the board with the change request with Rewst, that they are missing quite a lot of stuff when it comes to general processes for us on the client side. So, you know, like the approval, it is okay, but it lacks a lot of information. And I have done you know, kind of been on here before and kind of demoed it, but it wasn't 100% complete. So for instance, if you had more than one approver, when they pressed approve, it would all approvers would appear in your ticket. So in other words, you know, if you've got 5 approvers, only one approves it, it will update the ticket saying all 5 of them has done, because the way it can't read the list. Well, I've actually kind of fixed all that, so it's unique for everybody. So yeah, I'll quickly kind of show you a couple of things that mixes in with it. So this goes quite well with the portal itself and continuing keeping the customization kind of up. So you got a couple of things here. So if you're an approver, you know, it's nice to kind of know, okay, what's actually happening with this workflow. They get a nice little one to basically say, oh, you know, it's been bypassed because you are an approver. If you're a new user approver, you get stuff like this. So as you can see, you know, it gives a nice basic information here. So, you know, first name, last name, kind of everything you need, really. So on here as well, so you don't want it to show groups unnecessarily. So, you know, if you're on-prem, you don't want that on-prem list of groups to also be on somebody who's on 365 only. So this is kind of the same as before. It's all the exact same template, except for in that template, it's just got a couple of variables in there that I'll basically check to see if that is on-prem or not. If they are, obviously it'll be the exact same email. I'm not making any further changes, except for it'll have the on-prem security groups and everything else with it. And then you get your nice little approve and deny. So I have had to. It was quite difficult with this a little bit on the actual email. So when I demoed it last time, it works perfectly in OWA, but obviously a lot of people use Outlook desktop app. So I had to learn how to create the HTML because the way the Java gets like torn out through Outlook desktop app. So I'll show you that little bit of code shortly because yeah, basically I've had to kind of double up on a lot of things. So, you know, again, this is just a general example, you know, mailbox permissions, exact same sort of thing. This is the old one, as you can tell by the color. I haven't updated everyone with the new way yet, but it gives a breakdown of everything. So, you know, it's again, our logo. There's kind of, you know, it's all this is what I want people to see. You know, email forwarding requests, that sort of thing. It's a nice little breakdown. So it's saying what the source is, who submitted it, everything that needs here. So yeah, there is obviously a couple of different ones. Like as you can see, it's the same all throughout. I'm trying to make it as complete as possible. But kind of once that's been done, what it'll do. So if we go back to the new user one, for example, so you know once it's been approved, we then have it where it'll send it to whoever's requested it. So that's really good because essentially, you know, if it gets approved or denied, the person who's requested it is instantly getting updated on who's done that. So in other words, it's been denied, they can go sort it out internally. Or on this case, you know, it's been approved, at least they kind of know, oh, that workflow is going to continue now. And then when it's done, So again, this is something else we've added. Some of these I do need to obviously update, or some of them it's because I haven't reran under the test entity for a while. So essentially, it'll be, I have changed this now, so it does do. So the same way I use it with the app platform, where it goes to first name, last name, I've actually got that built in for most things now. But there is a couple others I need to do it, and then it embeds the one-time link directly into there. So a lot of the cases, if they haven't got a machine set up, you're going to want it where they can instantly have access to that account. So I wanted to make sure they get that confirmation email, but as well as that, they also get the password, so they can directly go log in. So for instance, if they're on Intune, the adapter deploy, it's doing stuff like that, they can essentially just go straight away, go access it. So within mere minutes, they've created the user. Again, if they're on Intune, they can sign in. The apps are going to deploy. So time our engineers come on. It's a quick 10-minute job. Pin apps, that sort of thing, and sync SharePoint if that's what they're set up. So again, when it's denied, nice little red, and yeah, that's kind of the whole pattern I've got going with it all. So I'm going to quickly show you kind of what I mean with the approval. So this before, if you see the last ticket, it wasn't like this. So I said when you hit approved, it did it for all of them, and it does that even on the standard, because you can't have it in that list format. It kind of ruins it a bit. So as you can see here, it'll tell you who it's been sent to, and each test form. Sorry, they're reading out the email, but each approver has its own unique link, but it's all through the same webhook. So if we go back to here, I'll be able to explain a little bit more of how that works. So in the each approve or deny link, obviously I can't move my to show you, but if you look in the bottom right of that link, so for here it shows Rewst test. So inside that link, it's already got this email that I'm using. So when I hit approve or deny, it's already going to know. But because it's also using the same webhook, only one approver can press it. Because if somebody else presses it, essentially they'll just instantly get the error about the webhook being fulfilled. So it is really, really effective, and it's really, really good. So I'll quickly show you that before I show you this, just while we're on it. So the way the webhook kind of works is on the approval email. So obviously this here, it will create the webhook, and as you can see, there's a few links, because essentially I have to create it for each type of approver. So depending on how many approvers you've got is depending obviously how many of these you need to create. In my case, I've just put it as 5, and then essentially what it does inside each one, it's just a general email routing. So I've created each approver with its own variable. So all this is basically doing is checking against that variable and saying, oh, is it defined? No. Okay, then that means then there's only like 1, 2, or 3 approvers, because you don't want it to try and send out to all 5, because it's not all 5. And essentially what it'll do, it will send the approval email, and then obviously you're going to wait that response. But that wait response has got two different responses waiting from the exact same webhook. So what it's actually doing, it's waiting for the response of whether it was approved or denied, but at the same time, it's also waiting to see what approvers links pressed it. So even though it's the same webhook, inside each one has a unique identifier for each approver, and that essentially waiting for that to come back. And when it comes back, as you can see, if webhook results equals the new user approval email, here we go. It knows it's approval 1, and then it will go to the org variable new user approver, in 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it will repeat. And that's how it generally captures that result. And then obviously at the end here, it will update the ticket to say whether it's been approved or denied, and that result will obviously go to the top level. So all this part kind of is two different things. Is kind of regardless, even if they are an approver, like I showed, you want them to kind of know what's going on, what's happening, and this is what happens. It'll pass through. Say you've been bypassed, and it'll run through there. So this is the kind of set up for all the ones that I showed you earlier. All the email forward and everything else, it's all set up in pretty much the exact same way. But I reckon it goes really well, kind of like what Aaron was saying about the customization and stuff. Is we could do all sorts with the text, but the amount of customization you can do, obviously for the client side as well, is amazing. Between using the portal and all this, as you can imagine, the amount that gets done that we don't have to get involved in it at all. All we're doing is analyzing the ticket and closing it off. So overall, it's been kind of great building all this out, and when you put them in bit by bit, it doesn't sound like much, but when you put it as a whole as this, you can kind of see the benefit of building it. So all the website is the portal. In my case, it's just simply little little bit of HTML. So this is the landing page. So there's not much on here. The new user guide is going to be, kind of similar sort of thing. But on the new one, which is something I found out, you can use HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which is essentially what created my background. But yeah, so that's kind of like how I utilize it for all our clients and how they use it.